What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Pancis. If it's your first time tuning in, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. If not, thanks for your continued support. We're back at it today with my 1999 Saab 9.3 Viggen. Only about 450 of these, maybe total, maybe 500 total for a 2-year period that they ran this color scheme with this spec. Most of them were in 99, and I think they made like 20 of them in 2000. So this is a pretty rare Viggen. I don't know how many left are on the road out there, like 3-door coupe with the blue, but this one's pretty spectacular, and today we're about to make it greater again. As you guys can see here in the background, we have sway bar links, new lower control arms for both sides. We got front suspension cartridges for the struts, and we're going to do a new outer axle for the passenger side since the boots have all been cracked up and busted up open on there. So let's hop into it. Before we start filming, I'm just gonna take off this wheel and remove and loosen up the axle nut so we can get this whole thing taken apart, and we will go from there. So I like to loosen the axle nut with the full weight of the car down on the wheel, so there's no drivetrain axle, no pressure on the drivetrain axle. So we're making some nice headway here. Before I pull the strut down, I'm just going to actually I'm gonna pull the strut down. So we got the lower control arm front part off. This rear one still seems to be decent shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this the rest of this sway bar link, which is busted up, and then we're gonna remove the suspension to get to the strut. And then I'm gonna clean out the outer axle there, the cup, to put the fresh axle in when we're ready to go. Here's the old control arm here, the lower control arm. You can see this bushing here was pretty shoddy. Okay guys, a little update for you. We got this, got the outer tie rod thing out. Okay, so this is ready for spring to get back on with the strut mount, but I have to run out and get a compressor to compress the spring. But for now, I just cleaned up the inside cup for the axle, and I'm just gonna put some fresh grease inside the boot and then get that axle put into place so we can put the lower control arm back on. I figured since everything's out of the way, it's a good time to get that done. So let's do that now. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and compress the struts, get this into place. Okay, we got the strut back together. I got the control arm in with the one center bolt in, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the strut into place. Actually, before I put the strut into place, I'm gonna secure the inner bolt on the lower control arm, and then we'll put the strut back in. All right, guys, a couple of days later here, I'm gonna take a break from this front end. We gotta figure out the axle. Gotta get the CV joint on the old original axle. We're gonna rebuild it, put a new boot on there. In the meantime, we have this side all completed with the links and everything, so we're all situated here. Sorry I did it off camera, but this side I'm waiting to put the sway bar link on because I'm gonna probably remove the lower control arm to get the axle out instead of removing the lower ball joint because it's more of a pain to do it that way. So I'm just gonna leave the control arm easy accessible by not putting the link on. So when I get the part in, we can just pop that thing out and pop it in and finish that up. So front end is coming together nicely. At least we have the struts redone and some of the other components here. Now we're gonna get to starting some of the body work because I went ahead and got a quote on the body work. So I'm gonna lead into the end of this video with doing some body work prep, and it should be pretty easy to finalize. We have pretty much the bumper mostly and the spoiler to really focus in on. The trunk lid we'll sand down and touch up with some POR 15 so it doesn't rust anymore, and then primer that up and then bring it in for the shop because they're gonna paint the top of that. We're gonna get the sun or the roof repainted since we had some paint damage up here. And then he's gonna do the rear bumper, front bumper. So right now we're gonna hop into fixing up that front bumper. So let's hop into that. This thing's gonna be so freaking nice when we're done. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so check it out. Car's on all fours. No more extra bounces. And no creaks and rattles either, so that's a good thing. We get to the bumper here. All right, guys, so here is the front bumper. I haven't really shown too much since we've gotten the car because the first thing I did was take it off the car when we towed it home, but most of the damage is on the lower end of the bumper, which is a good thing because if I work on this to try to get it back to near perfect and I miss a few details, obviously it's going to be underneath. But the point of the matter is there's no cracks in this bumper like I had on the previous Viggen. So in terms of repair, this is going to be pretty much like a real good sand down, get all of the paint off, and then I'm going to go and take some body filler and fill in some of the plastic. Like this is all beat up right here. You know, you guys can see that there. So I'm just going to fill that in and just kind of re-sand everything down smooth, primer it, wet sand the whole bumper, and then it will be ready to go to the paint shop. So this is actually a really straightforward deal with this bumper, and the spoiler I'll show you guys here soon is about the same thing. It's pretty much near perfect, just needs some filling in like on some areas that are rough, and the rest of the car just needs to be wet sanded and scuffed up, and then it's gonna be ready for paint. And he's gonna do his 2-stage paint, and it's gonna be awesome. This front grille is still intact. It looks like it's a little bent up, so I'm gonna take it off as well right now, straighten it out, and then I'm gonna sand off all the loose paint there and repaint it black so it's fresh black. And this thing will be back to rocking. The thermostat harness and everything's in place there on the car, so we'll pop that back in the bumper when we reinstall everything. So this thing's gonna be pretty freaking sweet when we're done. It's gonna be near perfect. The last Viggen we did was near perfect. This one's gonna probably get close to like 100%. Better than near perfect. So that's the scoop on this. Let's rock it out. This had a few little pits in it too, so I went ahead and filled it. Some body filler here. I don't care about all this excess because I'm just gonna sand this all down anyways, and it's all gonna be good. This stuff dries so fast, so we'll sand this whole thing down here shortly, and be ready to go. As remember in the first video when we introduced this issue under the wing, I remember telling you guys this was all surface rust. Well, there you guys have it. This is just tape here. There's no rust here. But if you guys look, all the stuff that had quote unquote rust on it, even this came out all right. I'm gonna just I'm gonna go ahead and neutralize this with some cleaner and make it right. All right, so the stuff I'm talking about for the metal is the metal prep, which is a rust neutralizer. So I'm gonna put that on before we do the POR 15, and then once we do the POR 15, I'll let that dry, and then we're gonna do primer and then let the guys paint it. So it's gonna be perfectly fine going forward.